Hi there guys and welcome to another Train Sim 2020 video. Today I've been looking forward to this for quite a while. I've been keeping up to date with the development for this through the Just Train streams, and to say I'm excited about it is a slight understatement. This is sort of, as you'll know, I've been trying to make sure that Just Trains gets back to the reputation it used to have within the Train Sim community. And it's been something I've been quite keen to see happen. It's not something that has happened fully yet, but this is something that I've been really looking forward to showing off, just because of the sheer amount of new assets and effort that I think has gone into this route. I've seen bits of it. I've tried not to watch full runs of it, and vice versa, just so there's some bits that are still new to me. There is a lot to cover as well. I will just add that there's an awful lot to cover. I've got the manual up. There's a lot of new assets and stuff, so I probably won't be able to show off everything that is new within this in one go. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of scenarios for this for a little while anyway, so we should be good. Also, I am driving the updated Just Trains 222 Advanced. This was released Wednesday. It's got an updated livery, and there's a few other bug fixes in it, step throttle and brake notch and all that sort of thing. So kind of like the 220 got the upgrades, 222's got it as well now. If you bought this through Just Trains, just go and re-download it from Just Trains. If you bought this through AlanThompsonSim.com, you can go over to AlanThompsonSim.com and re-download the 222 as well, and that'll give you the updated version. Right. We'll go through bits as we get going as well. Good morning, driver. Please open your doors. Allow passengers aboard. Set the cab ready for the 10:29 departure for St Pancras International. You will call at Chesterfield-Derby and gets Derby, and it's a driver change. I've picked a fast run, really, just so we can have an overview of the route more than an in-depth let's look at everything, but we will be looking at bits as we go. Of course we will. Right, let's unpause the game. Get set up. We'll get those doors open. Let's do that first. Get the DRA off, because I hate that thing. It's been a while since I've driven this. It's not drastically different to the Voyager. Get those on today. Let's get my master key in and get that into neutral. Get the AWS off. Let's get cab lighting. No, it's not that one. It's that one. On. Cool. So I'll probably pause. Well, we've got a minute or two to look around. This is Sheffield. Now, I saw some of the dev stuff in the streams for Sheffield, and I was very, very, very impressed. I love whoever their new modeler is, has done some amazing work. Or I don't know if he is particularly new or he's just upped his game, but the asset creation for this route has been really, really good. Really, really good. And so far, again, I'm very, very pleased to see some of it up close myself now. Sheffield itself is a station that I've spent too many hours at. A couple of my mates went to uni in Sheffield. But I never used to go down the Midland Main Line way. I used to head back over towards the East Coast Main Line. I think somebody said in one of the streams there's some stairs that are the wrong way round or something. But I, even though I've spent a long time here, couldn't tell you that fully first off and just sort of straight off. Sheffield tap, I like that little addition in there. Right, I'm going to pause it now because I don't want to be too late. Liking some of the posters and things like that. It's nice to see. Detail in it's decent. It is decent. They've done a good job with this. It's very clean, I will add. Everything's very, very clean. And even got the outside done nicely as well. There's always a bit of a feature of Sheffield, really, when they redid the station, was the entrance, and there's the bus station stuff up there. Sheffield Hallam, my mate used to live like up, so you get up there and then over this way. But yeah, no, that's good. That's decent. I like that. Cool. How far does the route go that way? Alright, cool. That's fine. Tram stuff in as well. Quite like that. It's got the overhead line stuff. That wasn't in the last little dev bit I saw. Didn't have the catenary. You've got a very overriding feature of Sheffield. Right, the EMR livery, the 222. Now, this is let's be honest, I've already said it in videos. I am not a fan of the 222 livery. Not the reskin of it, but in real life. It's what I would expect somebody's granddad to come up with. I call it the granddad livery because it's like you went to your granddad, what colour should we paint our new trains? You go, oh, make it purple, lad. Make it that nice, regal quality. It's just, it doesn't do it for me whatsoever. Really, really doesn't. The reskin though is decent from what I've seen. Klaus actually noticed a few things on the stream that he passed over, and yeah, there's a couple of little bugs I'm sure they'll sort out. He passed over. They've taken that feedback on board, even though it was literally within a day, I think 2 days of release. So I'm really pleased to see Just Trains doing that. That was really, really good of them. This reskin was Rob Skip. It was, I think it was supposed to be a bit of a secret, but I think there was like a billion screenshots floating around of that well before it was shown off by Just Trains themselves. So we'd sort of seen bits of it beforehand. The MT livery with the Lions Club branding, that's nice as well. It's good going. It does look good. There was a bit of controversy around the orange on the EMT skin. I will agree it isn't the right shade, but it's not massively. I think Klaus did a reskin or a patch up of a reskin of one that did change it years ago. I'll see if I can dig that out and put that in at some point. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I think Tom thought it was Railworks Enhanced that was doing it, but it doesn't seem to be because I've not got it on. But it's no massive biggie to me, if I'm completely honest. So we've got the steps back in on the right side. The 222 had a few issues when it did come out about steps being on the wrong, no door steps on different sides and things like that. So it looks like they've done a decent job with that. I am pleased. Right. Let's get you back up and running because I've just switched you out. But are you alright? Yes, you are. You're fine. Okay. We'll stop that as well. Let's get moving. Not too sure what's going on with the discs. That was pointed out on the stream, and I hadn't really noticed it that much in the screenshots, but in the game I can see it. So I like the graffiti. That sort of dirties up a bit, but when you're using very clean sort of textures behind it. This is a nice bit, isn't it? That's cool. It is using the Just Trains track. Now, there was a couple of bits in this where I think Mark said he'd used a dirty texture that wasn't commonly used with Just Trains before, which I thought looked really nice. It made a big difference, but again, they're using different bits in different parts of the route, which is fine. No response is required, was that? Was that no response? It's quite a nice little feature. Quite liking that people are putting that sort of scripting back into into scenarios now. It's a nice touch. That's decent. I like it. One of the nice features about the 222 is notice. The man with the plague has finally died. And he's bought himself a more modern phone that has a silent feature, which I think is brilliant. It's very green. Very, very green. Be interesting to see what it looks like in like winter. See, this is a station they showed off quite a bit, like before. And funny enough, I came through this station on a 185 from the Hope Valley section a couple of weeks ago, and it is quite cool. You've got this grate here, which is to stop you seeing this red as you're coming around this way, which is a nice little feature. I like that. I do like that. Again, I'm not going to comment too much about the colour of the grass. That's always going to be a bit of a bugbear for me, is the use of this grass. In my eyes, there is better default than this that DCG have done. It's always a bit odd when you see like bits like this and any other sort of view. So if you wanted to get like a decent shot off the bridge for a screenshot, now I know this isn't my sort of thing, and I know, but this is something that a lot of people do. You start to really notice how it's put in. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's a bit of a Marmite feature. For me, it's not something that I would want to see in every route that's done. It has its place. There are certain places it looks really good, and it looks much better used in this than it did in Cornish main lines. So I'm glad they've taken that feedback on board as well. Tunnels in this were one of the things I really liked. It was like the entrances to the tunnels, the tunnel portals. Looked really good. I was very, very impressed with them. So this does Sheffield, Door and Totley, Dronfield, Chesterfield, Belper, Duffield and Derby. I know a certain person from Belper who will be very, very pleased with this route. So Just Trains are strongly advising you run in 64-bit mode. I would anyway. Uninstall updates, regular news, blah, 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 blah. Stations, so you've got Sheffield, Door and Totley, Dronfield, Chesterfield, Belper, Duffield, Derby. And then there's this little thing. I quite like the way they do these sort of like guides to the route in the Just Trains manuals. I do think they're a nice little touch. When I can stick to the speed limit. So it starts off with the Park Hill Housing Estate, which I showed you anyway at Sheffield. You've got the Sheffield Supertram stop. Then there's like the Electric Works building. Did we look at that? I think we did, down the right-hand side of the bus station, didn't we? Sheffield Hallam we saw. The outside of the station we saw. The Moxo car park we saw. The power signal box we saw. The Sheffield Station footbridge we saw. Sheffield Depot we saw. The funeral care building, I don't think we actually looked at that much. Shrewsbury Road tunnels, Granville Road bridge, we went under. The Supertram bridge, I did the bit outside for that. That is something, that was a bit of the route I do quite like, just the way that the bridge sort of goes up. Sheffield College, I don't think we saw. The casino, that's a nice asset. We didn't see that either. A lot of these are nice assets. I was talking about the tunnel portals. So you had the East Bank Tunnel. And they've done like a B&Q. And then there's a lot of different bridges. They've even got the Salt Dome at Sheffield. That's quite cool. Bramwell Lane Football Stadium. Sheffield United Stadium. And then you've got like a David Lloyd's like gym sort of thing. Woodseats Road Bridge. Archer Road Bridge. They've got like a Tesco, which I quite like, and a Sainsbury's. So for an asset bank, which is kind of what I think a lot of this route was set up to do, is to create a bigger asset bank whilst making some money out of it, which is a fairly good, a decent way of doing it. It's very similar to the model we used for things like Missing Link and that sort of thing. What you basically want to be able to, the really expensive bit of route, making a route, is of course the assets. And if you've got lots of custom assets in a route, it costs a lot of money to have those made. The actual time of putting the track down and putting the scenery down, yes, it's time consuming, but it's probably not as expensive as asset building. So if you're going to put a lot of new assets in it, I think they were saying this has more new assets than any other Just Trains route previously, and I can completely imagine that. I mean, Valley Corridor was another one that was a bit of an asset builder as well in my eyes. There was a lot of new assets in that as well. I think some of them are in this as well, and some are in the Common Library. I think there was some talk of some of the new assets not being in the Common Library and some of the new assets being in the Common Library. That business model I don't quite get just yet. I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. Don't know. It's not. I don't think it's a deal breaker in any way, shape or form. Dorsouse Junction, which we've been to, Bradway Tunnel. You've got Sheffield Football Club Stadium. It's the world's first ever football club, founded in 1857. There you go. It's a new one on me. Oh, we're stopping at Chesterfield. Some braking, are we at here? 40 with a rheostatics on at 1.5 bar. There we go. Then it jumps up to 120 when we have the air brakes kicking in below 50. don't know when they sort of they blend the air back in. I'm not sure it should jump. I don't know. I think it would have been better blended than that in real life. I think a lot of the little details like fencing and things in this route are what I like. It's the meshes on things. Platform textures are really nice, very, very nice. I can see plenty of use for those in a lot of other applications. And I think this is one of those routes that's going to become you're going to need it for some freeware routes. It's an odd path, isn't it? That's quite cool. Right, I've got to leave. And then the Dronfield Retail Park, we went past that, went into the bridge. There's things like a play area. Put some like well-known bits in, which is a nice touch. I think the problem with doing such specific things is where else are they going to get used? So if that's like one asset block, it's kind of like, well, where else are you going to use that? So you invest in a lot of money to make one route incredibly decent. I mean, things like the retail park and stuff like that, you're going to see replicated in lots and lots of different places. Some of the whimsical names they've put up, I'm sure some thought and effort has gone into those, but some people will find them amusing. It's better than having them plain or weird, I suppose. There's Chesterfield Station, Tapton Junction, Tapton Footbridge, which we'll get up to. The Crooked Spire at Chesterfield. Oh yeah, we could look at that, couldn't we? I actually saw this in one of the quite early dev runs of this. I don't think any of this was here by then. This is the Crooked Spire. The truth is probably that it is due to lead covering the spire twisting unevenly when the sun warms during the day, compounded by the use of unseasoned timber in the spire's construction. So that's why it twisted. It's cool. Nice feature. Right, FPS. This route, when I was watching the stream with Tom, was getting decent FPS in a 66, and then when it was the 222, it seems to be getting around the 30 mark, which does seem to be what I'm getting. I'm getting between 30 and 32, 34. A couple of little low spots, but nothing major at all. Actually, it seems very well optimised for what we're seeing, which is really nice. I'm unsure if that's something with a 222 or what. I will drive it with something else after and just do a quick comparison. Oh, that's a nice bit. Moving cars can happen over the bridge, I like that. Claycross Tunnel. It's another bit that another portal that I really like on this. I'm up to 110. I think that's the fastest you can go on this route, isn't it? I think there's only one little stretch of the Midland Main Line that you can do 125 on, isn't there? I don't know, I always say that and then somebody comes out and tells me it's complete rubbish, but I'm not sure. I actually will be doing the Midland Main Line in its full glory in November, which I'm looking forward to. It's quite wide. Next to the track, you've got quite a big, sort of wide side each side of this route, haven't you? I wonder if it used to have more tracks. Because even some of the embankment bits that I've seen in the videos are quite wide. There's some pretty bits. I can see why they picked this bit of the route to do. And you can see there's been some effort and detail put into this, which I'm really, really pleased of. Pleased to see. And it's things like overbridges and things like that. You can see where the detail has been put into these. And they'll come in handy for a lot of freeware route developers, big time. Track's quite bumpy around here, mind you. Wonder what that is. See what it's like on another train, to be honest. There we go, 110. Can we keep that 110? Oh, gone down to 100. I was just going down to 80 again after that. I was like, what? More board with that? That's a bit weird. God for that. That's a cool bit. With a road down next to you, I like that. Yeah, there's going to be some. I can see some good scenarios on this. I mean, the scenario potential for the route. There's a good bit of freight. There's some passenger workings. Scenarios that come with it. I think there's about 15 or something that are using third-party stock, so payware stock. And then there's another load for those that just want to use default. Whoever you are, I don't know who you are, but please stop. This bit's cool. Oh, this was very cool. Ah, wicked. I like that. I like that. It's got a bit of Harrogate Loop about it, that, hasn't it? Oh, I should have taken the train back a little bit. I could have done a screeny with that. That's nice. Nice use of the 2D trees just blocking everything out, which I like. There's people out there going, oh, 2D trees. Don't use 2D trees, man. Yes, use 2D trees unless you want to have 4 frames per second. Not everywhere, but they have their place. Now, we're not stopping at Belper, but I will stop and have a look at Belper. Mr. Dreamliner himself will be a very happy man. He will also know if it's incorrect, which I doubt it is, because we'd have heard about it by now. Was this one of those places that they used like an upside down arch to stop the track falling? Where did I hear that? Was that on the Don Coffee video? I can't remember. Right, Belper. It's got this thing which is quite cool. I love these little details. This is a nice little touch. That's good. Just in case Josh hasn't bought this yet, which is unlikely. I'm sure he will have done already, or have seen some leaked screenies of it, which I'm sure he will have done as well. Oh, this is nice. Like that. I don't know how. I think this route is very localized. So it's spot on for where it is, and I quite like that. They've not tried to be too generic with things to make them usable other places too much, but they've kept that in mind at the same time. I hope it's a good balance for them, because it's quite a nice way to go. Expensive, but a nice way to go. Talking of price, $24.99 for a 30-something mile route, is it? Is going to be in some people's eyes expensive. Personally, I am really not that fussed about it, considering how much extra assets are in it and everything like that, and how many new assets are in it. You've got a lot of scenarios as well. I'm just actually going through those now. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 payment scenarios. My worry with that is that you saturate it, but no, I stand by them for that one. So that is for payware. There's 15 payware scenarios, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 default scenarios. Oh, what is that? Am I got a red? My guess is I've got a red and I'm not going to make it. No, I've got yellow. I'm alright. What's the speed over there? I'm going to guess, go for 60. It's all on default. Doesn't tell you what you're driving. Drive a 156, no default 156. It's a Steam 156. Right, okay. Okay, I get what they're saying here now. Sorry, I've got a sneeze coming and I want to say something at the same time, and I think if I talk, I'm going to sneeze. Oh. Okay, so standard scenarios requiring additional payware stock. Is just basically means AP and JT, but then some of the default stuff uses things like the 156, which are not the AP 156, but even the Steam 156 is still an additional cost. But I know what they mean by Steam stuff. It's quick drive enables, which is nice to see. And then the credits, you've got Mark Walker, who's the route developer. He's done plenty of work for Just Trains over the years. Custom objects is Alexander Penfold, William Stead, and Tom Williams. Scenarios, Ash Clark. That means there'll be some good ones in there. Thomas Harrison again, and Mark, all decent scenario creators as well in their own rights. Quick drive scenarios. Big shout out to Max. He's also the creator of Leeds Lines. Then you've got Just Trains was the project management. Alex Ford is the managing geezer for Just Trains. Martin Wright did the installer. Artwork was Think Creative. Manual was Alex. Well done, Alex. Really enjoyed the manuals in this one. Another banger in this one. I do like it. Stop car marker for this station is where. Have I missed it? There. Won't open the doors just yet because we'll finish off. Thanks for Craig Haskell and customer service Simon King. Special thanks to EMR driver Kerry Hewitt, and a big thanks to all the testers. Brilliant. All right then, I go and buy this. It is a nice route. It is a nice route. There'll be more coming from me on it as well. Don't you worry about that at all. You'll see some more scenarios, I'm sure, straight away. Oh, this bridge is listed as one of the things. Now, we asked about this bridge. So it puts it down as London Road Bridge. So this, I don't think, is actually a custom asset. I think it's a rework of something else, I think Mark said. But it does fit nicely in at Derby. Derby, of course, big railway town. Big railway town. Again, everything's very clean. Very clean. But it's still nice. Can't complain at that, can we? Look at it. And I think they've also done sort of Litchurch Lane works and all of that. But I'll cover those mostly in another video, I think, because I'm sure we will see plenty of little works trains coming in and out, and backdated delivery of stock and things like that. I mean, there's the S-Stock test track that they used and everything like that. That's got fourth rail. Depots are all open. Not all of them, but enough to be usable, definitely. Yeah, I'm pleased. I'm really pleased. I'm glad Just Trains have taken their time with this one, even though they've done it quite quickly. It's been done well quite quickly, so I'm not that fussed. There's always going to be little niggles, and I'm sure I'll find some more as time goes on, but as a first lit video, I say go and buy this. Yes, some of you will go up at the price of $24.99, but for what you're getting and for the usage I think you will get out of this route will be quite high. The danger will come is when when they extend this, will be on the pricing of the next extension. Because you're paying for a lot of assets to be created within this, that cost is going to have to be negated for the next pack, isn't it? Or you're going to have to put just as many assets in again for the next section of the route. You could then end up with a very expensive route, but you'd only have to buy the bits you want. So it's modular. It's a bit like a kit, which I like. I don't have an issue with that model. Buy what bits you want. Buy what bits you want. After driving it myself, so pros, assets are stunning. 222 is a decent upgrade. There's a couple of little niggles here and there, but nothing major at all. For a free update, can't really moan. It's a nice drive. It's a nice drive. It's pretty. You get a bit of town, you get a bit of country. It's very green. We'll have a look at it in winter, of course. Cons, Just Trains track, even with the dark texture, still the track really stands out to me in that weird sort of warping thing it does in front of your eyes. It's quite reminiscent of TSW. That will be done. Somebody will do an AP track patch for this very quickly anyway, would be my guess. Some of it's quite bumpy. It's quite weird. I don't know. I need to see what that is. The width of some bits are very wide, and of course the grass, but that's me personally. Apart from that, there isn't much to say at all. Frame rates wise, really good. I had decent frame rates all the way through. Not hugely high, but for the level of detail that's in the route, very acceptable. 30 pretty consistently the whole way through in that scenario. I expect to get more with different stock, because that's what we saw with the stream. Yeah, go for it, guys. Go for it. Well done, Just Trains. Well done, Tom. Well done, Mark. Well done, all the guys that had their hand in this. Big shout out to those guys that create the assets, because they are very nice. So, yeah. Let's open the doors, end the scenario, and I might go and drive another bit of it. I might do a return, another way, in something else. It is a bit short. It is a bit short. We did that whole thing, realistically, without all the stops, probably in about 35, 40 minutes. 30 minutes even. Is what it is. But it comes with a lot of scenarios, and there's going to be a lot made, so you'll get your use out of it. You'll definitely get your use out of it. Right. All right, and guys, thank you ever so much for joining me for that. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Heading over to AlanThompsonSim.com for all your up-to-date train sim needs. Heading over to the Facebook group for a little bit of help here and there, or just a bit of banter. Heading over to Twitch for a more adult-themed, pub-like atmosphere, talking about trains, and that is on a Sunday night from 7 PM and a Wednesday night from 7 PM. All links found in the description below. Once again, guys, thanks ever so much for joining me. Catch you next time.